Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving straight into a truly incredible piece of history, a document that miraculously survived a war-torn jungle against all odds, only to eventually capture the entire world's attention. For over 3 decades, a secret was kept half a world away from where it actually originated. We're not talking about grand military strategy or high-level politics here. No, this is the story of a small, weathered, handwritten notebook. It's a private collection of thoughts that ultimately transformed into a massive global symbol of peace and resilience. And the whole crux of our story today really begins with just 2 simple, incredibly powerful words. Don't burn. Just pause and think about the absolute gravity of that phrase in the middle of a combat zone. These words were spoken right in the thick of the resistance war in Vietnam. An American soldier, whose actual job was to destroy enemy documents, stumbled upon this small diary. But his translator gave him a crucial piece of advice. He told him not to burn it, because, in his words, the book already had fire in it. Which brings us to this absolutely fascinating turning point. That American soldier made a fateful, defiant decision right then and there. Moved by the sheer spirit he found within its pages, he actually chose to save it. So he just tucked this diary, which belonged to a young Vietnamese surgeon, right into his pack. It's this incredibly rare moment of shared humanity in the middle of a devastating conflict, you know? Just one person looking past the uniform to recognize the profound human value in someone else's private, innermost thoughts. Fast forward to today, and we're actually exploring her legacy exactly the way modern students do. If you open up a contemporary educational textbook in Vietnam, you'll find her featured right there in Unit 1, under the beautiful title, Life Stories We Admire. It really is wild to think about how her private words made it all the way from the jungle canopy into a modern classroom. She's not just a historical figure, she's studied as a genuine role model for today's youth. So who exactly was this author? Well, her name was Thuy Tram. She was a young surgeon operating in a hidden field hospital during the war, specifically deep in the jungles of Quang Ngai province. I mean, just try to imagine those working conditions for a second. She's operating on injured soldiers under the constant, terrifying threat of air raids and ground attacks. And between these harrowing moments of surgery, she turned to her pen just to process the chaotic world around her. She devoted her entire youth to saving lives. And this diary gives us a totally raw, unedited look at a soldier medic navigating that high-stakes reality. 27, that's it. That is how old she was when she died in the line of duty. Her life was cut devastatingly short, leaving behind only these private words to speak for her. And honestly, it provides such a vital human face to a history that's usually only told through cold statistics or big-picture military strategies. But amazingly, her voice wasn't lost. For more than 3 decades after she passed away, over 30 years, that American soldier kept her diary completely safe. He held on to this deeply personal account, which, by the way, was just overflowing with her love for her family, her fierce devotion to the independence of Vietnam, and this really profound longing for her mother in Hanoi. Then, finally in 2005, a copy of the diary was returned to her grieving mother. Talk about closing an incredibly long emotional loop. And when the diary was finally published in Vietnam that same year, the public reaction was absolutely staggering. In its very first year alone, it sold over 300,000 copies. I mean, for historical nonfiction, that is a huge deal. It clearly struck a very deep chord with the public, bridging the gap between generations who had lived through the war and those who were born long after it was over. But her words didn't stop there. This personal account of unwavering hope quickly crossed national borders. The diary was translated into more than 16 different languages globally. When it was published internationally, it was given the English title, Last Night I Dreamed of Peace. And honestly, that title perfectly captures the core longing of a young woman who was completely caught up in the terrible machinery of war, yet still dreaming of a quiet home. Just look at the timeline of this journey. It starts during the war, written in a hidden field hospital. Then it's saved from the fire by an American soldier. Fast forward to 2005, it's published in Vietnam after returning to her family. And then in 2009, it leaps to a whole new medium, adapted into the film aptly named Don't Burn. It's just a testament to the unstoppable momentum of a genuinely powerful human story. Today, Thuy Tram is memorialized as a national hero. But here's the crucial thing. She isn't revered for battlefield strategy. She's honored for her profound humanity and her absolute devotion to preserving life.
She really considered herself a daughter of the revolution, devoting her whole life to saving others. And through her diary, we get to see firsthand the sheer resilience of love and hope, even in the absolute darkest of times.
Which leaves us with this big question. How does a private diary of war become a timeless lesson for peace? Well, Thuy Tram passed away at 27, but her dream of peace absolutely did not die with her. Her words survived the fire, they survived the decades, and they continue to inspire new generations today. It's a pretty amazing reminder that even in the heart of war, love and hope really are the most resilient forces of all. Thanks for tuning into this explainer today. I really hope this story sticks with you.